Shrek Forever After is the sequel to Shrek the Third, which, as we all know, wasn't a very good movie. I guess DreamWorks realized that too, and decided that, hey, the next Shrek film should probably be ending. They don't want to milk a dead horse. Well, at the same time, they had a spin-off movie in the works, but they decided it was time to end the franchise with a movie that literally says Forever After, being the finale. It also has a pun in the title. Get it? Forever After? Four. It's better than Shrek the Third, what the hell that means. So is Shrek Forever After as good as Shrek 1 and 2? Well, let's find out. Also, I gotta mention, the Shrek Forever After begins with a book. Why is this important? Well, Shrek the Third didn't. It's the only movie in the Shrek franchise that doesn't start with a book, and it pisses me off. So Shrek the Third actually, it really isn't that much about Shrek. It's actually about this guy here, Rumpelstiltskin, the main villain of the movie. And he is trying to get far, far away in the beginning, which is a flashback scene. You couldn't tell because the king's alive. But unfortunately for him...
Your Highness, the princess, she's been saved. Huh?
So Rumpel's pissed off because his life is basically shit because he couldn't get that contract, which was so close to getting. We then turn to Shrek, who's not too happy in his married life because I guess life's too mundane now, and there's an annoying dwarf guy that keeps bringing a tour bus over them, and Donkey keeps interrupting his life, I guess. And he can't take a nice stroll in a mud bath, apparently. Poor Shrek has to take out the trash. I mean, I guess it does suck when your outhouse gets destroyed, but it's really not. I mean, I guess his chair was on fire. I guess that kind of sucked. You see, Shrek was the old days, and people were scared of him for some reason. I mean, his motivation in the first movie was that he didn't like how he's not accepted.
People take one look at me and go, ah, hell, run! A big, stupid, ugly ogre. They judge me before they even know me.
So I'm not the only one who thinks his motivation isn't that great, mostly because he feels a little out of character in this movie. I mean, he directly says stuff like this.
Do what I wanted, when I wanted to do it, back when the world made sense.
You mean back before you rescued me from the Dragon's Keep?
Exactly.
Also, there's this kid. I feel like I have to mention this kid because I guess he's kind of famous. I don't really know what else to say here. Also, looks like Shrek got his fish tank cleaned out because Donkey killed his fish in the one movie. Or did he? I don't know.
I don't have any fish. You do now. I call that one Shrek and the other Fiona.
I even think it's weird that I keep referencing the original Shrek movies. Is because this movie does a lot. Like, they recite the lines like, constantly. It's kind of distracting if you watch me more than once. Like, okay, I get it. You're referencing Shrek 1.
This is the part where you run away. This is the part where you run away. What are you doing in my swamp? What are you doing in my swamp?
I guess you call that minor nitpicks, but it's kind of weird. Shrek says stuff like that all the time. These are his catchphrases, even though he only says it once in Shrek 1, and then he just says the same lines in Shrek 4. I guess it's a little bit clever, but the fact that they do it, like, all the time, it gets a little distracting, at least in my opinion. So Rumpelstiltskin takes advantage of Shrek, not wanting to be, I guess, a ogre dad, or not be around villagers or something like that, and not selling pitchforks, and he's like, I can give you a contract for a day of your life. And what day is that day?
What about a day you wouldn't even remember? Like a day when you were a baby. An innocent, mindless little baby. The day I met Donkey. Now there's a day I'd like to take back. I don't know who that is.
So Shrek signs the contract. It's also revealed that Shrek doesn't know how to do cursive and writes in bold letters. Shrek, learn how to write better. So Shrek decides it's time to terrorize the town because he got a free day back, and I guess he missed doing this. I can see a little bit, but the fact he seems so adamant about getting this one day is a little over top. Like, come on. Like I said, I don't have to play the clip from Shrek 1 again, but hey. Also, Shrek is into cross-dressing. Also, during this scene where he terrorizes the villagers, the animation gets a lot worse, and this one guy from up here decides it's a good idea to drop on Shrek. I mean, I don't know why the quality's so bad, but yeah, this is a weird-looking guy. He's like, give me your loot, fat boy, and then Shrek says, fight me. I don't know, this seems kind of odd. So maybe that last scene didn't happen, but what is true is that Shrek realizes that this world is a little different as he sees a wanted poster for Fiona. What kind of shit is this? Also, his swamp home looks like this. Also, a couple of witches, cat kidnapped Shrek. So Shrek is taken to Far, Far Away, which is now owned by Rumpelstiltskin, who, since Shrek is out of the picture, yeah, he owns Far, Far Away because the king and queen basically signed him over to them.
They would would if I promised them all their problems would disappear. And then they disappeared.
So if you can guess, Rumpelstiltskin is pretty clever with his deals and how he manipulates people. And of course he does the same thing with...
You took the day I was born. No, Shrek. You gave it to me.
So Shrek escapes on a witch's broom, and he takes Donkey, who doesn't know who he is in this universe, along. So like in the regular Shrek universe, Donkey here is scared of Shrek, despite the fact that he really has no reason to be.
That was really scary. And if you don't mind me saying, if that don't work, your breath certainly will get the job done, cause you definitely need some Tic Tacs or something, cause your breath stinks.
So Donkey decides to run away from Shrek because he's bad at singing.
You've got a friend.
Shrek is all alone, and he cries thinking about his life that he lost. And this is when Donkey comes back. I guess because he saw Shrek crying, he's like, hey, I'll help you out. And he folds up the contract to reveal its hidden escape clause, which is...
I lose bliss.
No, actually, it's...
True love's kiss.
Hey, well, you're gonna have to take me to dinner first.
So Shrek needs to find Fiona in order to break the curse, because that's his true love, obviously. He also introduced a bunch of other ogres. Yeah, I bet you know there's other ogres in the Shrek universe, and all of them are bigger than Shrek, because that makes sense, and they make Shrek look dumb, even though that's not really his character, but whatever. And what I mean by dumb, even though this is obviously a different version of Fiona that he knows, he some reason acts like the same Fiona, and tells her stuff that makes no sense at all.
Then I punched the cakes that the pigs ate, and the next thing I knew, my donkey fell in your waffle hole.
Yeah, you remember when Shrek was dumb? I don't. In fact, despite his brutish nature, there hasn't been a scene where he's actually showcased being dumb in any of the Shrek movies. In fact, he's pretty clever, like how he defeats the dragon in Shrek 1 here, by trapping it rather than trying to kill it, because that's obviously going to be really hard to do. Or in Shrek 2, where he came up with the idea to make a giant gingerbread man to get into the castle. He's not a dumb character. In fact, he's been shown to be pretty clever before, but now he acts really dumb with Fiona here. Also, Puss in Boots is fat in this universe. I think it's the reason why I didn't like this movie a lot as a kid. I mean, I like it now, but you can't mess with Puss in Boots, in my opinion, as a kid. I hated when they did stuff like this. Like, why is he fat? I mean, I liked Garfield as a kid, too, but it doesn't really add much. He sucks in this universe, basically. Also, Shrek thinks a gift basket's gonna win the affection of Fiona, because it worked before when it really didn't. They just made balloons one time, and he acts like an idiot.
Free kiss. Let's cash it now.
While Shrek fails at wooing Fiona really badly, Rumpelstiltskin hires the Pied Piper, who can make people dance with his flute. And basically he's going to use that to capture Shrek.
It's time to pay the piper. Griselda, seriously, it's time to pay the piper. Now go get my checkbook. Go!
And yes, Pied Piper did appear in Shrek 1, but it was only a one-off gag, and I feel like they can reuse characters if they were only in the background, so it doesn't really matter. Puss in Boots, The Last Wish reuses the Three Bears, which also appeared in Shrek 1, and of course, Shrek Forever After reuses Rumpelstiltskin, who was actually a little bit prominent in Shrek the Third, but now... So Shrek finally learns how to win Fiona's affection in this universe by beating the shit out of her. Oh yeah, the ogres get trapped here, obviously, they do a little dance number. I guess it's funny. I wouldn't mention them more, but they're really non-characters, and where are they in the regular Shrek universe? They exist here. I mean, I thought all the ogres didn't really live anymore, because it seems like their dads eat them.
My father was an ogre. He tried to eat me.
The way Shrek phrases it in this scene makes it imply that ogres are known to eat their kids, and that's why we don't see a lot of ogres. In fact, up until this point, we only seen Shrek and Fiona, which Fiona really isn't is a full ogre. So where did all these ogres come from? I have no idea. There's like a lot, too. I guess in this alternate universe where Shrek isn't born, I guess their dads don't eat them. Or I guess villagers didn't kill them all off. Because it's heavily implied that there's not a lot of ogres for that reason. And I know it's not a big deal, but like these characters are the end of the movie, too. So it's like, where are these characters? It's kind of confusing, at least in my opinion. They don't explain it. A bunch of ogres appear in a universe where ogres are hunted. So I don't get it. Though even all those ogres who didn't exist before are captured, Shrek does finally get some action. But unfortunately, it doesn't work.
The kiss didn't work. Because Fiona doesn't love me.
So all the ogres are captured, but Shrek isn't, so Rumpelstiltskin has a bounty put on his head. and a bunch of characters try to wreak in the reward, including Gingy here, who actually gets eaten. You also get one of my favorite callbacks from Shrek 1. Actually, like I said, not all of them are bad, but the ones that actually Shrek has catchphrases, they're kind of stupid.
What is that supposed to be? I'm just a frightened old man.
Listen to him! These ogres are crafty.
That is your father painted green.
No, it's Shrek, honest.
This is actually a good callback, because it's the exact opposite thing that happened in Shrek 1, where Geppetto sells Pinocchio, and this time Pinocchio is selling his own father, which is really funny. So Shrek actually claims the award and frees all the ogres, but Fiona isn't freed, because as Rumpelstiltskin said,
Fiona isn't an ogre, is she?
you then get a climax where all the ogres come back in immediately, and they attack, and Dragon's also here, of course, working for Rumpelstiltskin this time. So Rumpelstiltskin is finally defeated, but fortunately for him, maybe, Shrek is about to die.
The best part of today was I got the chance to fall in love with you all over again.
So Shrek fades into dust, and the movie and franchise ends like that. So even though they had a fake out death, which is actually kind of similar to Shrek the Third, even though I think this one is more overdone, it's weird they have 2 fake out Shrek deaths in a row. Like, what is the point? I mean, what's the point in Shrek the Third? So oddly enough, it doesn't take Shrek back to the exact moment he left. It takes him back to this party. I guess he gets to redo it all over again. Though we get a pretty great line to end the film on. Well, not the last line, but great line nonetheless.
I always thought that I rescued you from the Dragon's Keep.
You did.
It was you that rescued me.
So it wouldn't be a Shrek ending without a dance party ending, and here's the ogres from the alternate universe, I guess. I guess they are alive in this regular universe too? I don't really know. But yeah, this is a callback to the original wedding, but here I guess they're dancing for no reason, because they're not at the birthday party, they're at Shrek Swamp. I know it's trying to bring back to the original Shrek movie where they ended on the swamp, but you know, whatever. And the credits roll with clips from the previous 3 movies reflecting on the ending of the Shrek universe, which kind of ended in 9 years of Shrek Mania. Shrek Forever After was the one that closed the door on pretty much the whole entire franchise. And it was met with mixed reviews at the time, and one of the main reasons why is that this wasn't the only animated conclusion that came out at the time that might not be the ending anymore, because this movie, like this other movie, is also getting a sequel. Yeah, Toy Story 3 came out the same exact year and around the same time span, I remember, as this one, and I remember this feeling way overshadowed by that movie, because Toy Story 3 was just a more climactic ending. Not that this movie's bad, but kind of overshadow it, especially since the fact this movie has less jokes and it's more dark, and it has a little weird inconsistency in character. But yeah, this was supposed to be the ending of the Shrek universe, but as it turns out, there's a spin-off in the work that came out a year later, and it turns out that over 13 years after the original movie, this movie came out, it turns out that another one's coming. Yeah, I mean, it already has an official poster, well, a teaser poster, and confirmed that the original cast will be returning, which is pretty neat. And they could do some interesting things with it, but I'm going to be a little skeptical until we actually see anything. But I am kind of excited, especially if there's anything like Puss in Boots' Last Wish, which I hope it will be like that. So I had a lot to say about Shrek Forever After. It is a film that I did not care for when it first came out. In fact, I didn't really watch it a lot as a kid. I only saw it once in theaters, and because of the less comedic tone it took, meaning that I really had no desire to see it. But when I rewatched it, for the first 2 times, I thought, this movie is really good. But this time I noticed a little bit more of the flaws that came back in. Like, I was hoping that when this rewatch, I was going to be like, okay, this is up with Shrek 1 and 2. But unfortunately, I can't say that. Now, I can't say it's a bad film. Obviously, I rated 4 out of 5. That's pretty good. Quite literally, that's my good rating, an 8 out of 10, if you will. But at the same time, I don't like Shrek's character inconsistencies. Like, he starts off as kind of a jackass. Like, I understand where he's coming from, but at the same time, the way he phrases it at it, like he doesn't give a shit. Like, he's like, justified too. Like, in Shrek 2, when he said he had a fight with Fiona, afterwards he felt bad about it. Here, he's like, gloats at himself, like, I don't think I should apologize. Like, I understand him wanting a day. It's not like he needs, it's okay he wants a day off, but the way he comes about it, I don't like that. And then when he tries to court Fiona again, he acts like a complete dumbass until a little later. I know he wants to get the kiss over with, but at the same time, he does the dumbest moves ever, like explaining stuff that this version of Fiona wouldn't know, and he knows his alternate universe. He quite literally establishes this, that he's no longer born, and that nothing he attributed exists anymore. So I have no idea why he thinks talking to Fiona about stuff that happened that she would have no idea about would make her want to kiss him. And Shrek's never done anything like that in any other movie. I mean, sure, some of the movies have been stupid. Even Shrek the Third doesn't do anything that dumb. And that's my biggest problem with Shrek Forever After, is that Shrek feels out of character. Also, Puss in Boots is fat. Now, Fiona and Donkey are great again. Fiona was trash in Shrek the Third, and so was Donkey. And they're both very important characters like they were in the first movie. They actually have their same roles. Donkey's flipped a little bit, but it showcases how important he is, too, even though Shrek grades him all the time. Donkey's a very important character that gets neglected in the Shrek universe. He's actually a big driving force in the first Shrek movie. And, of course, it actually brings it back to the Shrek and Fiona's relationship, which wasn't focused on a lot in Shrek the Third, which is why that movie's a piece of shit. And that's great. Of course, like I mentioned, the best part of this movie is the villain, but we'll get to that when we go to the villain breakdown. Let's go to the ranking. Shrek the Third is in the B tier. It's an 8 out of 10. It's not bad. Like I said, it's a good movie, but at the same time, I don't think it lives up to Shrek 1 or 2, at least in my opinion. I had a lot to say about this movie, mostly because I like the franchise a lot, and this is a movie that claims to going to end it. And yeah, it's satisfying, but at the same time, it doesn't really rectify Shrek the Third, and I think that's one of the biggest problems. Is that Shrek the Third was such a crap movie, is that it tries to fix those problems, but if Shrek the Third had a better base to go off of, I feel like it could have done a little better in some aspects. But that's just me. Now, you might be surprised that I'm saying that's an 8 out of 10 movie, that the villain wouldn't be an S-tier villain, but Rumpelstiltskin is an S-tier villain. He is great. He's not voiced by a celebrity, is the funny thing. He's actually voiced by the film's writer. I think his name's Walt Dern, something like that. I'm not sure how to pronounce that last name. I'm really bad at communicating. And that showcases that's going to be a good performance, because that means they couldn't find anybody to replace the temporary voice. And when you have that, that means it's going to be a good performance, and it really is. We haven't got a good villain Shrek since Fairy Godmother, which, you know, Farquaad is funny, but he's not really impactful, and Prince Charming, less to say about him, the better. Even though Rumpelstiltskin doesn't really fit into the what you call the establishment, he does become it. He starts off not being it, but at the end, he takes a similar role to characters like Lord Farquaad in Fairy Godmother, where they're basically the establishment. Though his world's a little more chaotic than their perfect worlds. But yeah, he's a great character, and the reason why he's similar to Fairy Godmother, in fact, he uses manipulation as his main goal, which is always a villain trait I like to see. Villains who can manipulate their way into power is something I like a lot, and that's his main purpose, and he's just a funny character. He's kind of a combination of all of actually Farquaad and Fairy Godmother. Manipulation of Fairy Godmother mixed with his comedic side of Farquaad, and also in his both of them trying to take over is combined into him. And yeah, Prince Charming kind of sucks. So he's a great character, and he's definitely, every scene he's in is hilarious. This is why there's a lot of clips of him in the movie I played. And yeah, that's Shrek Forever After. This is not the last time we're going to be talking about the Shrek franchise. So we got 2 spin-offs and a sequel that may come out. It probably won't be part of this whole marathon, but whenever Shrek 5 comes out, you're going to bet your sweet Nilly, or Niffy, or whatever the hell it is, that I'm going to review it. Anyway, this video is probably long enough as it is. I'll see you next time with a masterpiece movie coming next, Megamind. See you then.